Welcome to Amazing World Channel.
It is far, far more than that, and indeed has the potential to be more damaging to the EU project than Brexit. The scenes witnessed exactly a week ago today on the streets of a major city in a supposed civilized country disgraced Spain and the Spanish authorities. Innocent citizens had rubber bullets fired at them and were clubbed by riot police in body armour. They had been sent in on the orders of embattled Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy. Elderly men were hurled to the ground, and one elderly woman was dragged from a polling booth by her hair. Rude Spanish civil guard officers clashed with Catalan independent supporters last week in the supposed fraternal European Brotherhood of Nations. An attempt at a referendum is rebuffed with violence. Nick Ferrari, one man lost the sight of an eye after being struck by one of the rubber bullets, actually in the shape of balls in this instance, and another suffered a heart attack as a result of how his fellow countrymen treated him. The crime these poor souls had committed: they'd opted to vote in a referendum about seeking an independent Catalonia. Admittedly, the referendum had been called illegally and in breach of the country's constitution, and it is plain to see that allowing regions to hold referendums when they choose is a recipe for anarchy. However, what has been intriguing is to see how the EU, and, possibly more importantly, the European Commission, has reacted to the escalating crisis. Remember, the Commission is meant to be the guardian of the human rights of all EU citizens. Yet, having seen more than 800 of those citizens left injured after the style of police brutality usually witnessed in less developed parts of the world ruled by tin-pot and corrupt dictators, what action did it take? Precisely nothing. Indeed, it took 24 hours for any form of response, and when its chief spokesman did issue a statement, it only served to inflame tensions, as it said it had full trust in the Prime Minister, who had sought to halt the ballot by any means possible, and had failed to apologize for the brutality meted out. The reason for siding with Spain is twofold. Firstly, Spain is one of the more supine, unquestioning members of the EU, rarely offering opposition to any EU whim. Secondly, the European Dream project cannot allow Spain to lose Catalonia as it breaks EU rules. Jet a Catalan independence rally in Barcelona's separatist movements flourish across the continent. They have to be resisted, and even heavy-handed tactics, involving one member state beating up its own citizens, are ignored and in some ways seemingly condoned. Weak statements from Brussels abound. The chief Brexit negotiator Guy Verhofstadt condemned the violence, said he didn't want to interfere in the domestic issues of Spain, and then promptly criticized the Catalan regional government for its so-called referendum. Darling of the liberal left, French President Emmanuel Macron telephoned his Spanish counterpart and said he backed him and the constitutional unity of Spain. Former Greek finance minister Yanis Varoufakis had clearly rumbled them. However, when he said, "What message does the Commission's implicit support of violence against peaceful crowds send to authoritarian governments in Hungary and Poland?" European leaders are panicking as so many countries now have growing separatist movements. If Spain was to lose Catalonia, the Basque region would be highly likely to follow. Yet in the Scottish referendum the democratic vote was respected. Then the contagion of people seeking self-determination and freedom from many of the EU's most rabid and unquestioning supporters could spread. In Belgium, it's the well-organized Flemish movement that could follow. Italy has similar problems with the Venice region, in Poland it's Silesia, and in Germany it's Bavaria. For France, the region seeking independence is Corsica, hence Macron's instant support for those bullet boy tactics. In the supposed fraternal European Brotherhood of Nations, an attempt at a referendum is rebuffed with violence. In the UK, a referendum on an independent Scotland is called. Both sides make their cases often passionately, and a democratic vote is respected. And they try to tell us the European way is the democratic and peaceful way forward.